Bless, bless, bless. It's the Down to Earth Network, the Down to Earth podcast with your host, Sean Myrie. Got a special one for you. It's a review coming straight to you. But this is a review of a other great content maker name, goes by the name of What's the Dirt. He's been covering a lot of this Drake, Kendrick Lamar beef, a lot of content he has, but especially the episode what Drake put out a couple weeks ago, the Iceman series, if you want to say streaming. He put out part one, part two, part three was his latest. He was in Milan or Italy doing the stream, promoting the album, right? A lot of people are talking about it all over the net, including this brother right here. What's the Dirt? Let's just hear what he got to say.
Real quick before we get started, I think this is like the best breakdown that I've ever made. I'm super proud of this. I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys. So we finally got Iceman episode 3 from Drake, and this time it all went down in Milan, Italy. A quick refresher, episode 1 was in Toronto. We had Drake at the Iceman factory. We got the single for What Did I Miss, and then he drove the delivery truck through the city for all of downtown to witness. In episode 2, he went even heavier on the visuals, where Drake's team turned it up a couple notches. We had Drake at the brewery. He was staring at a couple red buttons. A Pinocchio was stalking him. He received.
So What's the Dirt is basically giving you, a recap of the whole series, right? Breaking down from 1, 2, and he's going to get to 3. Just listen to him.
The mysterious bag from Central C. We got the record for which one. He gets away from the Pinocchio, jumps in an elevator where he stares at another red button before he catches a train. That's a high-level review of what happened so far. And now with episode number 3, Drake's team took the production to a whole other level, as this episode required 16 cameras, 2 Steadicams, 1 drone, 14 locations.
One thing I got to give Drake. This is one thing I got to give Drake. He's the evolution of an artist that he realizes technology. He has to use the technology, right? Which is streaming. Streaming, not music, but the visuals. Streaming to promote his new project, the Iceman album, right? And I'm reviewing the breakdown.
With just 3 days to prepare, and I didn't count, but there has to be at least over 100 actors. A lot of people overlook like the work that goes into this, including me, but this is like a live film. Just a quick disclaimer, there are a lot of Italian landmarks and references in this episode, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce some of these words properly, but I'm destined to mess up some of these names. The episode opens up with a wide shot of Castello Safranza in Milan. During the day, this is one of the...
So, What's the Dirt's going to go through a lot of this symbolism, right? It's like this whole story, what Drake has put out there for, I guess, content makers like What's the Dirt and me, myself. But I'm not going too deep into it because this is just to deflect this whole lawsuit shit and that he lost the battle. That's what it is.
Easiest places for tourism, but in this shot, it looks lifeless as it's shot at nighttime. Now, inside these walls lies some of the most celebrated art in human history. Names like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael all have beautiful murals and statues inside this castle. But here's the twist, none of them owned their art. No matter how brilliant they were, these artists were paid for their labor and not their legacy. Whoever controlled and owned the castle also...
So What's the Dirt is comparing, I'm guessing he's comparing the artists from Italy to the music industry. That's what he's comparing it to, because we're talking about Drake. So that's what he's doing. You guys could look into it.
Own the art. For as long as these famous pieces have lived behind these walls and the billions of dollars generated from tourists that go see it, the families of these genius creators have not earned a penny. From a music perspective, they didn't own their masters, right? This castle is a perfect symbol of power, control, and legacy as it pertains to art, and I believe it's a perfect representation of the music industry and how things work.
See, I already knew before I even seen that part, right? Before I even seen what he was saying, I was saying he's probably referencing the music industry with the artists from Italy.
Just like the famous art behind these walls, the music and legacy of an artist is owned by the label. In theory, UMG is no different than the leaders who own this castle. They'll put up the money to fund an artist, but more times than not, they own the music forever. It's almost like as long as art has existed, there's been this power dynamic where rich, wealthy, powerful people own the art and not the people who actually make it. Next, we see a bunker that is full of ice with two.
So, if we're talking about rich people who own it, maybe I'm getting a little controversial, but Drake, he's linked right up there with those people, right? Where his background is where he comes from. So he's not really no poor soul or anything like that. I don't know about that. What's the difference?
Levels and what appears to be a very similar sized block to the block that we saw Drake measure in episode 1. Now, the location of this bunker is at the business location of Iceman in Milan, not to get confused with the business of Iceman in Toronto. They are two separate enterprises, but this is a perfect shot that acts as a visual motif to remind us right away of the continued theme around the Iceman. Again, this has all been planned for quite some time. Next, we see the shot of the San Siro Stadium in Milan.
So what's this all supposed to do? This is my thinking. What's all this supposed to prove? What's all this? Is this going to make the album #1? Is this the round 2 for Kendrick Lamar, The Battle? Is this round 2? I want to know because episode 3 didn't get a lot of respect. it was quiet after that. This whole episode 3. I mean, yeah. Let's keep
Milan, which is one of the most iconic stadiums in the world for hosting football, concerts, and cultural events. The most unique aspect about this stadium is the fact that two rival football teams share it. They have one of the most famous and long-standing rivalries in the history of sports, and that is AC.
So, what's this all supposed to mean? Is this comparing Drake and Kendrick Lamar? Like, really? Like, what's this all supposed to mean? The symbolism? Is it the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle? Because that's the only thing I could point out why he's bringing up like these comparisons, right? Let's see what else.
Milan versus Inter Milan. This competitive dynamic under the same roof is a perfect example of how UMG structures its business. On the east, we have Monty Littman, who looks after the East Coast.
Now he's comparing the football team, soccer team, to UMG. They're both corporations, right? Let's just give him a chance. Let's see what he's saying.
Labels. And on the west, we have John Janik, who controls the power of the West Coast labels. These two executives in particular have been battling for years to see which side is more profitable, aka which team wins, but ultimately it all falls under the ownership of UMG. But get this.
Which is a monopoly. It all falls under the ownership of UMG, which is a monopoly, right? Playing everybody. All rhymes, man. Let's go.
In 2006, AC Milan CEO Adriano Galliani was caught in a match-fixing scandal. Basically, the CEO was hand-picking the referees to call the games. You want to know how they got caught? Wiretaps and a whole lot of them. I'm talking direct evidence of discussing which referees should call their games. Now, call me crazy.